What if the secret to living a longer, healthier life had nothing to do with expensive medications, complicated routines, or dramatic lifestyle overhauls? What if the answer was something far simpler, something colorful, natural, and waiting for you at your local market right now? Most people spend decades searching for the formula to age well, trying different supplements, following different advice, wondering why their energy keeps dropping and their body keeps slowing down. But the truth that decades of scientific research keep pointing back to is quieter and more accessible than most people expect. The foods you eat every single day, not occasionally, not in large quantities, but consistently and intentionally, have a more powerful influence on how you age than almost anything else you can do for your body. Among all the natural foods studied for their effects on longevity, 5 fruits stand above the rest, not because they are exotic or expensive, but because the compounds inside them work directly against the biological processes that cause aging, inflammation, oxidative stress, cellular damage, circulatory decline, and cognitive deterioration. These 5 fruits have been studied in laboratories, tested in clinical trials, and observed consistently in the diets of populations around the world that live longest and remain healthiest well into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. And in this video, we are going to explore each one in detail: what makes it powerful, how it works inside your body, and how to make it a lasting part of your daily life. Stay with us all the way to the end, because the 5th fruit on this list is one that most people eat without ever understanding how remarkable it truly is. Its ability to fight inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and support the gut microbiome has been documented in hundreds of studies, and the way it protects the aging brain may genuinely surprise you. Let's begin. There is a fruit so small that a handful fits easily in your palm, yet so nutritionally dense that researchers at some of the world's leading universities have spent decades studying its effects on the aging brain. It grows wild across North America and has been consumed by indigenous populations for centuries, long before science could explain why it made people feel sharper and stronger. Today, we know exactly why. The blueberry contains one of the most concentrated sources of anthocyanins found anywhere in the plant kingdom, deep blue pigments that belong to the flavonoid family and carry antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, so potent that they have changed the way scientists think about brain aging. What makes anthocyanins particularly extraordinary is not just their strength, but their target. Unlike many nutrients that circulate in the bloodstream without ever reaching the brain, anthocyanins pass directly through the blood-brain barrier, the protective filter that separates the brain from the rest of the circulatory system. Once inside, they work on multiple fronts simultaneously. They reduce neuroinflammation, the kind of chronic low-level brain inflammation that accumulates silently over years and gradually erodes memory, processing speed, and mental clarity. They improve the electrical communication between neurons, making thought faster and more reliable. And they stimulate the production of a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which acts almost like fertilizer for brain cells, encouraging them to form new connections, repair existing damage, and resist the degeneration that leads to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. The research behind these effects is not preliminary or speculative. Studies conducted at Tufts University, the University of Cincinnati, and research centers across Europe have consistently found that older adults who eat blueberries regularly perform measurably better on memory tests, show slower rates of cognitive aging, and maintain mental independence longer than those who don't. One landmark study that followed thousands of women over more than 2 decades found that those with the highest berry intake had brains that functioned as though they were nearly 2.5 years younger than their actual age. That is not a minor difference. That is the difference between remembering your grandchildren's names and struggling to recall a conversation from yesterday. The blueberry's generosity does not end at the brain. The same antioxidants that protect neurons also protect the heart, reducing arterial stiffness and lowering blood pressure by improving the elasticity of blood vessel walls. They regulate the speed at which glucose enters the bloodstream, helping to prevent the blood sugar spikes that damage tissues throughout the body over time. They protect the delicate blood vessels behind the retina, preserving eyesight well into old age. And they feed the beneficial bacteria in the gut, supporting a microbiome environment that reduces inflammation, improves mood, and enhances the absorption of nutrients from every meal you eat. The simplicity of adding blueberries to a daily routine is part of what makes them so valuable. Half a cup every morning, stirred into oatmeal, blended into a smoothie, scattered over yogurt, or simply eaten by the handful as you start your day, is enough to deliver the daily dose of anthocyanins that research suggests makes a meaningful difference. What matters is not perfection, but consistency. The brain benefits of blueberries do not arrive after a single serving. They build, slowly and steadily, over weeks and months of daily consumption, creating a cumulative protective effect that grows stronger over time. For anyone serious about preserving mental sharpness and living independently into their later years, this small daily habit may be one of the most important decisions they ever make. While blueberries work to protect the brain, there is an equally urgent need in the aging body that a different fruit addresses with remarkable effectiveness. The heart, a muscle that has been beating without rest since before you drew your first breath, faces increasing challenges with every passing decade. Arterial walls begin to stiffen. Blood pressure has a tendency to rise. The balance between different types of cholesterol can shift in dangerous directions. And the consequences of cardiovascular decline are among the most serious and most common that seniors face. Yet the avocado, which many people still think of primarily as a trendy food or a topping for toast, contains a combination of nutrients specifically suited to protecting the aging heart in ways that no pharmaceutical has yet matched. The foundation of avocado's cardiovascular power is its fat content, and specifically, the type of fat it contains. The vast majority of fat in an avocado is oleic acid, a monounsaturated fatty acid that is also the primary fat in olive oil and the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, which has been associated with longer life and dramatically lower rates of heart disease in populations that follow it. Oleic acid works inside the arteries by reducing LDL cholesterol, the form that accumulates within artery walls and creates the plaques responsible for blockages, heart attacks, and strokes, while simultaneously increasing HDL cholesterol, the form that circulates through the bloodstream collecting excess cholesterol and carrying it back to the liver for removal. This bidirectional action on cholesterol is genuinely rare in any food, and it means that adding avocados to the diet improves the cardiovascular picture in two directions at once. Beyond cholesterol, avocados contain more potassium per gram than any other commonly eaten fruit, including bananas, which most people assume are the richest source. This matters enormously because potassium is the primary mineral responsible for counteracting the blood pressure-raising effects of sodium. And in a world where most processed and packaged foods contain far more sodium than the body needs, most people are chronically deficient in potassium. When seniors begin eating avocados regularly, potassium levels rise, blood vessels relax, and blood pressure often falls measurably within weeks, without any changes to medication. Clinical research has confirmed that adequate potassium intake is associated with significantly lower rates of stroke, one of the most devastating and life-altering events a senior can experience. Avocados also contain a plant compound called beta-sitosterol that competes directly with dietary cholesterol for absorption in the small intestine, providing yet another mechanism by which this fruit reduces cholesterol levels after meals. Their combination of soluble and insoluble fiber feeds the gut microbiome in ways that reduce systemic inflammation, including the chronic low-level inflammation that stiffens arteries and strains the heart over time. And their dense content of fat-soluble vitamins, including vitamin K and vitamin E, supports bone health and cellular membrane integrity throughout the body. Half an avocado consumed 4 to 5 times per week is a meaningful and achievable dose. It requires no complicated preparation and fits naturally into dozens of different meals. Spread on whole grain bread in the morning, sliced into a salad at lunch, mashed with lemon and herbs as an afternoon snack, or blended into a smoothie that delivers healthy fat alongside fresh fruit. For any senior looking to protect their heart, lower their blood pressure, and reduce their risk of the cardiovascular events that take so many lives prematurely, the avocado is not a luxury. It is a necessity disguised as a delicious, everyday food. There is a third fruit whose story begins not in a laboratory, but in the oldest medical traditions of human civilization. Ancient Persian physicians prescribed it. Ayurvedic healers in India revered it. Greek scholars wrote about it. Chinese longevity traditions depicted it as a symbol of immortality. For thousands of years, across cultures that had never communicated with each other, human beings somehow understood that the pomegranate held something the other fruits did not. Modern science has spent decades trying to identify exactly what that something is, and what it has found has exceeded even the most optimistic expectations. At the heart of pomegranate's power is a compound called punicalagin, which exists in significant concentrations virtually nowhere else in the food supply. When punicalagin is metabolized by gut bacteria, it produces a molecule called urolithin A, and urolithin A does something that no other naturally occurring compound has been shown to do as effectively. It triggers a cellular process called mitophagy, in which the body identifies its own damaged mitochondria, the tiny energy-producing structures inside every cell, and systematically removes and replaces them with new, functional ones. This process is not a metaphor or a subtle effect. It is a form of cellular regeneration at the most fundamental level of biology, and its implications for aging are profound. Cells that undergo effective mitophagy produce more energy, age more slowly, and resist the dysfunction that leads to chronic disease. The reason humans age is, in part, because this housekeeping process becomes less efficient over time. Urolithin A from pomegranates helps restore it. This is why pomegranate research produces results that consistently surprise the scientific community. In cardiovascular studies, regular pomegranate consumption has been shown to reverse the accumulation of plaque within arterial walls, a process most physicians consider essentially irreversible without surgical intervention. Blood pressure reductions from pomegranate juice have matched those of certain medications in clinical comparisons. Arterial flexibility, a key indicator of cardiovascular age, improves measurably with regular pomegranate intake. And in studies focused on inflammation, that universal driver of aging-related disease, pomegranate's antioxidant activity has tested at roughly 3 times the level of red wine and green tea, two foods widely celebrated for their antioxidant content. The anti-aging effects extend visibly to the body's surface as well. Oxidative stress is the primary cause of skin aging, the breakdown of collagen fibers, the loss of elasticity, the formation of wrinkles and uneven tone. By neutralizing the free radicals responsible for oxidative stress throughout the body, pomegranates slow this process in the skin just as they slow it in the arteries and the brain. Joints become less inflamed and more mobile. Recovery from physical activity improves. And mounting research suggests that pomegranate's neuroprotective compounds may help delay the accumulation of toxic proteins in the brain associated with age-related cognitive decline. 4 to 6 tablespoons of pomegranate seeds daily, over yogurt, mixed with oatmeal, folded into a fresh salad, delivers a meaningful therapeutic dose. A small glass of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar works equally well for those who prefer a liquid form. The commitment is not to a large quantity, but to a consistent daily presence, week after week and month after month, allowing the cumulative effects of urolithin A and polyphenol activity to build within the body over time. For the gut and the immune system, two systems whose health is more interconnected than most people realize, and both of which weaken significantly with age, there is a tropical fruit whose nutritional profile is almost uniquely suited to addressing both simultaneously. The papaya grows in warm climates and has been used medicinally in traditional systems across Asia, Latin America, and Africa for centuries. In those traditions, it was understood intuitively as a digestive healer and an immune strengthener. Modern nutrition science has confirmed both of those functions in remarkable detail, while also uncovering additional benefits that the traditional healers could not have anticipated. The digestive power of papaya comes primarily from an enzyme called papain, which is produced within the fruit's flesh and seeds, and which functions as a highly efficient protein-digesting agent. As the body ages, the stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, and the pancreas secretes fewer digestive enzymes, meaning that proteins, the building blocks of muscle, immune cells, hormones, and tissue repair, are broken down less completely and absorbed less efficiently from meals. Papain effectively compensates for this decline by predigesting protein compounds in the small intestine, reducing the burden on a system that is already working below its earlier capacity, and dramatically improving the rate at which amino acids are extracted from food and delivered to the tissues that need them. Seniors who begin eating papaya regularly frequently report a rapid reduction in bloating, digestive discomfort, and post-meal heaviness, not because their digestion has been chemically suppressed, but because it has been actively and naturally supported. A papaya's role in immunity may be even more significant than its role in digestion. A single medium-sized papaya contains more than 200% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin C, a concentration that exceeds what you would find in 2 or 3 large oranges. Vitamin C is the body's most critical water-soluble antioxidant, and its role in immune function is fundamental. It protects white blood cells from being damaged during the inflammatory response they mount against infections. It stimulates the production of interferons, proteins that signal immune cells to activate and coordinate their response against viruses and bacteria. It rebuilds collagen throughout the body, maintaining the structural integrity of skin, blood vessels, and organ linings. And it shortens both the duration and severity of respiratory infections, a critically important benefit for seniors, whose vulnerability to complications from even common illnesses is significantly elevated. Beyond vitamin C, papaya delivers substantial quantities of lycopene and beta-carotene, two carotenoid antioxidants with extensive research behind their protective effects on the prostate, the cardiovascular system, the eyes, and the brain. Lycopene in particular has been associated with reduced risk of several cancers and with measurable improvements in arterial health. Beta-carotene converts within the body to vitamin A, which maintains the integrity of the mucosal membranes lining the respiratory and digestive tracts, the physical barriers that prevent pathogens from entering the bloodstream in the first place. Half a cup of fresh papaya eaten daily, at any meal or as a mid-morning snack with a squeeze of lime, is enough to deliver these benefits consistently. For those in regions where fresh papaya is not always available, frozen papaya retains its nutritional value almost completely and works beautifully in blended drinks and smoothies. And then there is the fifth fruit, the one most taken for granted, the one so ordinary and so familiar that its power has been hiding in plain sight for generations. The apple is everywhere. It has been everywhere for so long that the advice to eat one daily has become a phrase people repeat without thinking about its meaning. It has been reduced to a cliché, and in that reduction, something genuinely important has been lost. Because the science of what an apple actually does inside an aging body is not ordinary at all. The key lies in a specific form of soluble fiber called pectin, which exists in particularly high concentrations in apples, especially in and just beneath the skin. When pectin enters the small intestine, it absorbs water and forms a slow-moving, viscous gel that fundamentally changes the character of digestion. Sugars from the meal are absorbed gradually rather than rapidly, preventing the sharp rises in blood glucose that damage the walls of blood vessels, exhaust the insulin-producing cells of the pancreas, and over years of repetition, contribute to the development of type 2 diabetes. In a population where blood sugar dysregulation is one of the most widespread and least visibly symptomatic drivers of aging-related disease, this single mechanism, a gel of apple fiber slowing glucose absorption, has implications that are difficult to overstate. Simultaneously, the pectin gel binds to cholesterol molecules circulating in the digestive tract and carries them out of the body through the intestine before they can be reabsorbed into the bloodstream. This is one of the oldest known dietary mechanisms for reducing circulating cholesterol, and it works reliably and without side effects, unlike many pharmaceutical approaches. And as the pectin travels through the large intestine, it is fermented by specific strains of beneficial gut bacteria, including Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus, that produce short-chain fatty acids, most notably butyrate, as a byproduct. Butyrate enters the bloodstream and travels throughout the body, where it functions as a potent anti-inflammatory signal, turning down the chronic low-level inflammation that is the common thread connecting arthritis, heart disease, cognitive decline, metabolic syndrome, and cancer. The apple also contains a flavonoid called quercetin in concentrations high enough to produce measurable neuroprotective effects. Quercetin has been shown in laboratory and clinical research to inhibit the accumulation of toxic proteins in the brain associated with Alzheimer's disease, to protect neurons from oxidative damage, and to improve cerebral blood flow. When combined daily with the anthocyanins in blueberries, the two compounds work synergistically, offering a level of brain protection from food alone that rivals many of the most studied nutritional supplements on the market. And perhaps most practically of all, the apple requires nothing. No preparation, no cooking, no blending, no recipe. It can be carried in a pocket. It is available in every market on Earth in every season at a price accessible to virtually everyone. It can be eaten in 30 seconds or savored slowly. The only thing required is eating it with the skin on, because the skin is where the polyphenols, the quercetin, and the majority of the fiber are concentrated. Peeling an apple before eating it is, from a nutritional standpoint, removing the most important part. Wash it well, eat it whole, and allow one of nature's most underestimated medicines to do its quiet, powerful work. When you stand back and look at these 5 fruits together, the blueberry defending the brain, the avocado protecting the heart, the pomegranate renewing cells from within, the papaya rebuilding the digestive and immune systems, and the apple quietly fighting inflammation and stabilizing blood sugar throughout the day. What you see is not a collection of random superfoods. What you see is a complete nutritional strategy for aging well, assembled entirely from natural, whole foods that human beings have been eating for thousands of years. The research on longevity across the world's longest living populations reveals a consistent truth. The men and women who reach 90 and 100 in good health, with clear minds and functional bodies, are not remarkable because of any single thing they did. They are remarkable because of the small, consistent, daily choices they made over the course of a lifetime. They chose real food over processed food. They chose fresh fruit over packaged snacks. They made these choices not once or twice, but every single day, for decades, until those choices became as natural and unthinking as breathing. You do not have to transform your entire diet overnight. You do not have to be perfect. You simply have to start with one fruit, one meal, one morning. Add blueberries to your breakfast tomorrow. Replace one processed snack with an apple. Incorporate avocado into a meal this week. Let these small decisions accumulate over days, weeks, and months into something that your future self will be genuinely grateful for. The capacity to age with strength, clarity, and independence is not reserved for the lucky few. It is available to anyone willing to make the choice, consistently, starting now. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means everything to us that you stayed. If this video gave you something useful, please leave a comment below telling us which fruit you are going to start adding to your daily routine. We read every single one, and your words keep us going. If you found this helpful, please like this video, share it with someone you love who could benefit from this information, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We will see you in the next one.